Hey guys, this is the first video of the mental health series. Today we're going to be going over some natural fixes for ADHD and OCD. Everything I say in this video will help you, but I gotta say, this video is not going to be for everyone. A lot of people aren't willing to change and they are easily offended and they're just not going to be open to feedback. Some people aren't going to be willing to accept that they have a problem and they're going to live all their days with these same mental health issues and they're going to die never having fixed them. But if that's not you and you actually want to change and you're open to feedback and you're not easily offended, then I can actually help you. But before I start, I want to say I put a lot of effort into these videos, a lot of effort and research. So I'd appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can get notified whenever I release helpful content like this. Anyways, let's get right into it. So we're going over ADHD and OCD in this video. So what are ADHD and OCD? I broke them down into two simple things. ADHD is limited attention and hyperactivity. So you probably have trouble remembering things, paying attention. You probably know that guy that needs music when he reads. That's a symptom. And for the hyperactivity part, maybe you have a habit of tapping your leg under the table or your hand, or you pace around the house all the time. You have to be doing something. That's a sign of this disorder. As for OCD, that's a compulsive behavior and agitation of it. This basically means things must be the way that you're used to them. These people get pissed off when things aren't symmetrical, when they see untied shoelaces. You definitely know that guy who's a clean freak. I'm not talking about your mom. I'm talking about that guy who can't even go into the bathroom because it's not clean. I was actually raised and taught this one. It was a really unique one. It was odd versus even numbers. I was taught that odd numbers were bad and that if I saw an odd number, then I had to stay away. Like if you were adjusting the volume, you could not have it on an odd number, or my parent would completely freak out and change it to the even number. A horrible thing to teach your kid, but this isn't a parenting video. So these people will get pissed off when they see these types of things. And once they notice it, it's constantly on their mind and the only cure is to fix the thing. These people can't help themselves. They have an overactive habit of noticing things that are out of order, and that pisses them off and drives them crazy. So now that we've defined these mental disorders, let's go over how we actually fix them. Number one is to understand that these things are not real, they're false, and that they're completely fixable. You have to understand every person is just a rearrangement of habits. People have different types of humor. Some people speak with an accent. Some people have open body language. Some people have closed body language. These are all habits that you were taught or you picked up from somebody or the people around you from a young age. And unless they were bad, you were never taught to fix them, which is why you're here right now. Because a lot of people have problems that they never fix. As soon as you can fix them, the better your life will be. So once you understand and accept that every human is just a rearrangement of habits, we're all the same, really. So now that we know humans are just habits in a different order, we can change ourselves because all habits can be learned or gotten rid of. Now, the reason habits are sometimes hard to get rid of, I'm going to count ADHD and OCD as habits, is because your brain likes to build a system for doing things because it doesn't like to use energy. Your brain is really lazy, and that's just part of the human brain. It has nothing to do with you. An example is when you brush your teeth, you have a system for doing it. Maybe you put the toothpaste on and then the water, or the water and then the toothpaste and then the water. Or maybe you start on this side, maybe you start on that side, maybe you start with your mouth open, scrubbing the bottom. You have a system. And the reason you do that is so you don't have to think so much about it. The more you have to think, the more energy your brain uses. And to your brain, that's a bad thing. And how you break a habit is you actively fight it. And doing this takes a lot of brain energy. And that's why it's so hard, because your brain is energy resistant. It's very lazy. And that is the second part of fixing these issues. It is to actively fight them. This is the hardest part, and this is why 99% of you guys won't fix your habits. If you put in the work, it's completely doable. When I was a young kid in elementary school and middle school, I had a really bad attention span. I tapped my leg under a desk. I wouldn't even listen to what the teacher was saying because I just couldn't. So here's how I fix these issues. You have to isolate yourself. It's really hard to do when other people are around you, so make sure you just go on a walk or something, like go by yourself where it's nice and quiet. And whatever you're having trouble with, whether it's reading or having clear thoughts, you have to actively try to do that. A good exercise I do for brain fog and attention span is to go on a walk. I walk for around half an hour and I try not to think a single thing. If you get some noise canceling headphones for $20, that really helps. But even if you don't, just pay attention to your surroundings, listen to the birds, listen to the wind, try not to think so much. And it's gonna be really hard. Things are gonna be popping up in your head. You're gonna be thinking about what you're gonna eat when you get back. It's gonna be really annoying. And that's something people don't tell you. When you're breaking an addiction, it's completely normal to feel urges all of the time to relapse. And because of these urges, a lot of people won't end up fixing it. They'll just give in to the urges and they'll give up. They'll say, oh, I tried. I guess I am the way I am and I can't change. You're not going to fix it on the first day. It could take months. It could take a year or two. It'll probably take you like a month or so. Your brain is very adaptable and can change within a month or two. So if you isolate yourself and you try to stop what you're struggling with, do that over and over and over, and eventually you'll forget that you ever did in the first place. It won't be on your mind anymore because you stopped. As I said earlier, I used to have a habit of tapping my leg under the table. So what I did was I put my hand on my leg, and whenever I would tap my leg like that, you could hear it. So when I put my hand there, I would feel every time I did it. And whenever I did it, I would be like, oh shit, gotta stop. And I try to just sit there, maybe count to 10, and then eventually it'd start up again and restart and do it again. Then maybe I count to 20. And eventually you'll keep going over the days, over the weeks, over the months, and you won't have to count to 10. You won't have to even have your hand there. Eventually you'll look back, you'll notice someone else doing that and be like, oh my God, I used to do that. When you see someone else doing these habits, you can really see how unattractive it is, how unhealthy it is. And that's a big motivator to change it, because you're doing that. You know that you're that guy. You're that guy tapping his leg under a table. You're that guy who can't stop pacing around the house. But you can also be that guy who has a good attention span, who doesn't let unarranged things bother him, that has control of his own mind. You can be that guy. If you actively try to be that guy, eventually you will become that guy. So let me go over some of these individual things that I named earlier. So if you're the person who needs music when reading, we all know that person, whether we have them in class or it's our brother or our dad, we know that guy. What you can do is go out to a quiet place or put some noise canceling headphones on. You basically just have to try to read without the music. It's going to be so hard. You will probably read like 2 sentences and then you're going to be like, what did I just read? You're not going to retain anything for the first few times doing this. You might even have to read aloud to yourself. The only way you get better at doing something you suck at is to do it over and over again. Practice makes perfect. And the only way you build a habit is to do it over and over again. This is very repetitive and it's going to be really tedious and annoying, but it will all be worth it in the end. You'll be a new person and you'll be better for it. So that's the music while reading problem. There's also the trouble remembering things and the attention span, which is kind of the same issue, but here's how you fix it anyways. You want to go ahead and go on a walk or meditate. If you're into that, but I like going on a walk. Completely clear your thoughts of anything. This will give you more control over your mind. I know it sounds cliche, like meditating, but if you have enough control over your mind to not think anything, don't you think you have enough control to pay attention to something? It's really, really hard not to think of anything. Just pay attention to the things around you. It's a lot harder than you think. And the first couple times you do it, you're going to be thinking about some stupid things. Like, what am I going to eat next? Oh my God, did I leave the oven on? Or maybe I should text my friend right now. A bunch of random things are going to be popping up in your mind, and you're going to see how bad your issue actually was. But eventually you'll be able to do 5 minutes without thinking anything, and then 10, and then 20. And then you'll be able to do your whole walk without thinking a single thing, and you'll have control over your mind. Another issue is the pacing around. So when you pace around, chances are you're overthinking. They kind of go hand in hand. So the way you do that is you can either walk and think nothing, like we just established, or you can just sit there and think nothing. As before, it's all the same. You're just trying to do the thing that your brain resists. In this case, it's not pacing around the house. And what is not doing that? Sitting still. Set a timer for 5 minutes to start off with. Maybe you'll get to 5, maybe you'll get to 2 minutes. Eventually you'll get to 10 minutes. Eventually you'll get to 20 minutes. Eventually you'll get to the point where you stop feeling the urge to get up, mindlessly walk around the house. It's like running. You don't start off running a marathon. You start off running a half mile, and then a mile, and then a 3K race, and then a 5K race, and then a half marathon. But eventually you'll get to that marathon. You just have to put in all the work beforehand. Now we're going to dive into OCD. So that was all ADHD. This is now OCD. As I said before, it's a hyperactive ability to notice things that are out of order. And once a person with OCD notices things that are out of order, that they're not used to seeing like that, it's constantly on their mind until it's fixed or it's not in the picture anymore. The only cure for their agitation is to actually fix what is out of order. This is a really simple fix, but it's also a really hard fix. There are certain places people with OCD don't like to go. Places with a lot of colors that are out of order or asymmetrical. Try to go to those places. Try to just sit there and be bothered by that thing that is in the corner of your eye that you can't stop looking at because it's pissing you off. And do not get up and fix it. Just sit there like you know you should be able to do, and just let it be there. You should tell yourself, like, I should be able to sit here and not be bothered by this thing. By being bothered by some stupid object that is out of order, you're giving it all of your power to an inanimate object. That is ridiculous. Doesn't that piss you off? If that doesn't piss you off more than the out of order object, then I don't know what you can do. And after you sit there for, 5 to 10 minutes, just get up, walk out of the room. Do not fix the thing. Make sure you walk out of the room and then go reward yourself, man. If you're trying to build a habit, you want to do the good habit and then reward yourself. This way your brain knows that, oh, I just did this thing and it's good, so I should do it more often. And the opposite is true for a bad habit such as these. You want to kind of punish yourself, which is basically what all of this video is. It's finding a way to punish yourself for doing these annoying things. The way your brain is built, we kind of talked about this earlier, but it takes the path of least resistance. It does not like to be punished, and it likes to be rewarded. So if you reward it after doing something good, it'll do that good thing more often. If you punish it after doing something bad, then it's going to not want to do that. It's going to be like, all right, let's not do that again because I don't like being punished. I don't like sitting here for 10 minutes looking at this thing. Let's just not let it bother us. It sounds too simple. It sounds too easy. It's not easy. It is simple, but not easy. The hardest part about this is actively doing it for a long period of time. This is not just a one-day fix. This is going to take at least a month. Let's put a frame on 3 months on it. It's going to take you 3 months to fix these issues. Maybe 3 months to fix one of these issues. So to sum this whole video up, you want to go out of your way to fix these things. They're not going to be fixed by you just hoping that they go away, by you just accepting that you are the way you are. I know that's what people tell you, but this is what people don't tell you, because a lot of people don't change and they don't want to help people change. You must go out of your way to fix the things that you want to change. You must go out of your way to fix these mental health issues, these disorders, they call them. It's completely doable, and you have to change your identity, which is a hard thing to do. Saying that I lived my entire life as this person with ADHD and OCD, and now from this point on, I'm not that person anymore. That is really hard. It's really easy to say, but it's not easy to do. So to become that person, to become that better person and change for the better, to change your life, you have to go out of your way to do it. It takes a lot of work. It's very tedious and annoying. And the only person who can stop you is you. So if you got value out of this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and like, and maybe share it with a person with ADHD or OCD. But I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you in the next one.